Hey guys, and welcome to another Genshin Impact video. This is Elysium. And we are here now with the co-op event unlocked. But before we get to that, I want to show you guys something here. There is a new promo code out that I wanted to show with you guys. And each of these are for your individual server. So you can use one of these codes, and it will give you 30 Primo Gems and 5 Adventure XP booklets. And you can enter that code in here. I'll make sure to link the website in the description below. There's also an old promo code, if you haven't entered it yet. Whether it is still active or if it has expired yet or not, though, I am uncertain of. But that's these codes right here. Right, so the co-op event is an event where you, go do some co-op with either strangers or your friends, and you receive rewards. The rewards you receive from the event itself, as you can see here, are just a bunch of booklets, like a ton of these things, but they cost 40 resin. Now, what a lot of people didn't understand at the beginning, and what I'm going to prove in this video, is that you don't need to spend this resin. Spending this resin only gets you these rewards right here. That's it. The rewards we really care about are in the event section here. To start the event, you're going to want to go here to your event area, and you will get a start quest button here. Look for Timaeus. Clicking this will open a new quest in your quest log for you to track down, and it will have you go talk to this guy over here. And once you've talked to him, he'll basically tell you that he set up a special device in the Temple of the Four Winds, and that we should go meet him there. And then once we are here, we just need to talk to him again. The game will give a basic instruction on how to play the Crucible itself. Right, once you've talked to him again, you can come to the Elemental Crucible here and begin searching for a team. Or, if you have a bunch of friends, you can invite them now. As long as they've gotten to this point in the quest with you, you can invite them to your world, and they can and you can just start the Crucible together. As I said earlier, it's important to note that the resin cost is only for the treasure collection. The treasure collection cost is what it says it is. It doesn't cost any resin to go in. It doesn't cost any resin to do the event itself. The only thing that costs resin are these 3 rewards right here. And the reason you would still want to do this event, even though you don't necessarily need those rewards that are listed there, is because of the Alchemy Handbook. In the Alchemy Handbook, we have a lot of rewards that are available, and all of that this requires you to do for the Primo Gems is complete the Elemental Crucible. Looting the Elemental Crucible is not a part of completing the Elemental Crucible, and that's an important distinction to make. So it does not cost you resin. You do not need to loot to get these rewards. And that's very important because resin is very important and really shouldn't be wasted on experience books unless you really think you need experience books. The amount of experience books that it gives you is quite a bit, 33 to 35 experience books. If we compare that to a experience ley line, it's giving slightly more than 2 ley lines. If you do need experience, then I would consider the Crucible over the ley lines while this event is active. Just a quick note on the actual rewards here. All of this is very easily obtainable without spending any resin. All of these rewards. Something to note about this last reward is if you are close to leveling up your world rank and you have control over whether you level your world rank or not, I would suggest not doing it during this event and just staying at your power level that you are at and holding on to your extra and holding on to your extra adventure XP so that you can complete this right here, because this last accomplishment here is the only one that is even close to being difficult to achieve, and it just requires your entire team of it just really requires the entire group that you're with, be it friends or randoms, to be particularly high on their power scale compared to their current world level. All right, guys, Elysium from the future here, and I have completely completed the event now and understand how it works more or less. The event works in 3 rounds, and each of these rounds have their own stages. So, in the first round is when the event starts. It's going to spawn monsters continuously, and your goal here in the first stage is to kill these monsters as quick as you can. And as you kill these monsters, they're going to be dropping elemental cubes, and you want to be looking to pick up these cubes and turn them into the Crucible as quickly as you can do, as quickly as you can. The amount of cubes you turn in and the type of cube you turn in does not matter during this phase. All that matters is you turn in as many cubes as quickly as you can during this phase. There will constantly be monsters spawning that need to be killed, and there will also constantly be cubes spawning on the ground that need to be turned in. The entire reason you want to be doing the event more efficiently is for this achievement right here in the handbook, and this achievement right here in the battle pass, this one. These two require you to complete the elemental crucible in under 3 minutes on your world level, and the way that you do that is you look to make the event more efficient. The way the elemental crucible works is that there are 3 rounds, and each round has 2 phases: a monster spawning phase and a collection phase. During the first round, the monsters will spawn continuously and drop cubes. You need to collect these cubes and turn them in. The amount of cubes and the type of cube that you turn in really doesn't matter. The entire point of the first phase is to push as quickly as you can to the second phase, and the most efficient way to push to the second phase is to simply turn in cubes as quickly as possible. If that means grabbing 1 cube and then running back to the crucible immediately, then just do that. The entire point of the first phase is to push for that second phase. Once you get to the second phase, you're going to get elites that spawn. The idea behind the second phase is to kill the elites as quickly as possible. Because you're in the first round of the second phase, you won't find any more cubes to pick up. So what you're looking to do in the second phase is, during the first round of the second phase, is to kill these elites as quickly as you can. Once the elites are dead, certain players on your team will be inoculated, and they'll be inoculated towards a certain element. Those players should prioritize large cubes of that element and try to get 3 of them and then move back and turn them in. The challenge that these players will be facing, however, are that there will be multiple archers that have spawned. Killing them isn't necessarily priority, but it helps the players that are inoculated turn in their cubes. Because if the players that are inoculated get hit by these archers, then not only will they lose their inoculation, they'll also lose any cubes that they are carrying at the time. If you're not inoculated, the idea is to protect the ones that are inoculated while they turn in. But from what I've noticed, that is, if you are with good players, most inoculated players that are getting shot at can simply invulnerability frame through attacks and still turn in while you're also turning in, and this pushes to the last phase faster, and this seems to be the most efficient way to do the second round of the Crucible is to after you've killed the elites, just everybody try to turn in. If there are multiple elements, which there usually aren't, but if there are, and you're not inoculated, you should go for the element that isn't inoculated. Also, if you're not inoculated, you should prioritize smaller cubes over larger cubes. Let the inoculated players collect the larger cubes. If you're inoculated and you're turning in larger cubes, you're pushing towards the third phase much more. You're getting a multiplier to each cube you turn in, so the inoculated players should be looking to turn in the bigger cube over anyone who isn't inoculated. This brings us to the last round of the Crucible, which is 2 bosses that will spawn. They're always the same 2 bosses. It's a Golem and a Geo Berserker, and you need to kill them both. The problem is, although the Golem is very easy, the Geo Berserker takes a very long time to kill for some compositions because he has 2 health bars, one that needs to be broken by either a Claymore user, or you need to have overload reactions in your team to break his shield faster. Otherwise, it's going to take you a very, very long time to kill that boss. So that makes overload for this event particularly powerful. Once the 2 bosses are dead, you will again get inoculated, and again archers will spawn to try to shoot the inoculated players. The inoculated players then again look to turn in cubes quickly, and the non-inoculated players should look to either protect the inoculated players by killing the archers, or turning in cubes themselves and hoping that the inoculated players can dodge arrows. Once you turn in enough cubes during the last round, the Crucible will end. And again, the entire point of all of this is to do these 3 rounds as quickly as you can, underneath 3 minutes. As you can see here, the people that I did it with, our best time was we were able to do it in 2 minutes and 34 seconds. And you just need to do this once. 1 clear under 3 minutes is all you need on your world level. If you can get a clear on your world level under 3 minutes, then you will complete the 2 hardest achievements, which is, again, this one at the bottom here, which isn't even that important if you ask me, and this one on the Battle Pass, which is a good bit more important because it gives you quite a bit of Battle Pass experience. 2 1/4 of a level right there of experience, so that one is pretty important in my opinion. So, how do we complete this event quickly? Well, there are many, many things that you can do to complete the event quickly, and I'm just going to go over a few with you guys now. The first thing you can do is at the start in round 1, if you can kind of pull, if you have heroes that can pull enemies in towards the center, or if you can just fight near the Crucible itself in general, then you will finish round 1 quicker. If you know what you're doing, round 1 tends to be the one that takes the longest because all of the enemies are spread out. But if you fight around the Crucible, then you can get the enemies to come closer to the turn-in point, so all of the cubes that the enemies are dropping right near the turn-in point, so it makes the whole process much quicker to get past round 1. The other thing that you can do, and I didn't see anyone doing this, although I did it, buff foods do work in the Crucible. So having an attack buff food will really help your team, especially if everyone eats some buff foods. You can also use buff potions, keeping in mind what elemental reactions are strongest with your team composition. You can use the elemental potion that will work best for that team. On top of that, the most important food during this event is actually this type of food. It's stamina food that reduces your sprinting stamina cost. This includes your iframe dash cost. So any kind of food that you can reduce your stamina consumption of your sprinting specifically is probably the best food that you can actually consume during this event. If you are collecting cubes during the collection phase of any round, make sure to always try to manage your stamina so that you are able to dodge incoming arrow fire if necessary. It's easy to listen for, and all you need to do is dash right before the arrows hit you, and you will just iframe through them, stopping both your cubes from exploding and you having to go collect new ones. So it's very important that you manage your stamina, because if you use all of your stamina to run around collecting all of the cubes and then you don't have any stamina left to actually dodge the arrows to turn them in, then you're going to end up making the event take far longer. If you're playing an archer during these events, remember that you have a charge shot. The charge shot, depending on the archer that you're using, is very useful, although it may not be as useful on a character like Fischl because Oz is always available. Archers like Venti and Amber, who don't have elemental abilities as often, can benefit from using their charge shot to apply an element to the enemy boss or elite for their teammates, over and over and over again. This goes the same for mages with elemental auto attacks. If you're playing a mage like Lisa, you can just simply auto attack the enemy elites and they'll constantly have that debuff on them. And that brings me to my next point, which is stay around your teammates. When you're killing the elites and the bosses, stick together, kill the bosses together. Co-op is all about doing things together. The entire point of it is to be able to set off more elemental reactions than you would normally be able to do solo. So to do that, you need to all be attacking the same target. This is very important. If you're not all attacking the same target, you're not all applying elemental reactions to that target, and then you're going to end up clearing the Crucible slow. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. That'll do it for this video on the Crucible element. I have a tier list video coming tomorrow that will better explain the best team comps that are going to be used to achieve that 3-minute achievement that you need to do. So look out for that, and I will see you guys next time. You can catch me live on Twitch at any time at Elysium_Akali. The link is down below. Also, if you haven't yet, consider liking and subscribing. It helps me out a ton. And I will see you guys next time. Thanks for tuning in. Elysium out.